Now let me check the volumes. Headstrong, I take you on. Headstrong, I take on anyone. Now I want to thank my guest for making the time to be here today. This is uh from your mom's house, and now just a comedian, host of the Josh Potter Show, and I know he's a big sports fan and a Twitcher. The great Josh Potter. Thank you for being here, man.
What's up, dude? Good to be here. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
no,
me.
no, thank you. Just seeing what you've been up to as far as like I know your show's been killing it. Like I love watching it, even though I'm not really like as sports like knowledgeable as you are, because you sound like you know the numbers and the statistics and stuff.
I don't think I do, but some people say that. I mean, maybe to like regular people who don't watch sports or whatever, it sounds like I do. I mean, someone else said that to me. I don't think I do, but I mean, there's people that know way more players and stuff. Like anytime I talk to a real baseball fan, I feel like a fucking baby or something because I only started watching baseball in like 2018, so I know a lot of players from then, like in the last 6 years. But when it goes to like history and shit like that, they know. They're like, well, Wally Greenback he stole 84 bases, or when you're like,
Oh
okay, I
man.
don't know anything about, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, but you can hold your own with these people. Like you can at least look like you're you could fit in with the
if we're
sports.
talking current stuff, I can hold a conversation about just about anything. Maybe not basketball as much. In basketball, if I try, I have to be a little more inquisitive or like ask questions as opposed to like pretend like I know anything. Football is my best one.
Okay.
I'm good at
No,
football. Hockey, I can talk about one. I can talk about the Sabres, and that's it. And then baseball, I can talk about now times. But if you go to like, remember that '94 NLDS? I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember that at all.
do speaking of basketball, and just a real quick question, how do you think Magic Johnson is still alive?
He's got
I
money, dude. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever get credit or take credit, but I feel like the money that he put into his health was the reason AIDS isn't even like a thing anymore. Like everyone, unless you're a hobo or something, pretty much everybody can survive AIDS now. It seems, or like live a productive life whilst having it. It's not like they don't get rid of it, but it's
mhm.
become like herpes. I mean, it's like it's not. It's no longer a death sentence,
Yeah, it's no
and I feel like
longer
he contributed to that. Like he should get credit for like being the maybe like the reason. I have no idea. This is just a theory, but like the amount
mhm.
of money he was like, I will spend. I mean, this man owns the Dodgers. I mean, he is so beyond wealthy, and he's Magic Johnson. I feel like he just threw money at the problem, and they're like, we can mitigate it, and now it's become like normal for
Yeah,
like
because
everyday people. I feel like, but I
before
could be wrong. I don't know. I don't have AIDS.
you're right. You're right. It was a death sentence back then, and then mostly for the homosexuals, and then here comes Magic Johnson making it kind of, I wouldn't say cool to have AIDS, but at least not uncool
It's
to
so
have
funny.
it.
Like the reason, and it's like actually kind of hard to contract AIDS like through vaginal. So that's why they always said it was like a gay thing.
Yeah, in the
But it's
butt,
really
whatever.
just because the friction of anal sex is more conducive to contracting AIDS than the friction. Usually there isn't too much friction in vaginal intercourse if you're doing things right. And so it was, obviously more prominent in the gay community, but straight people were having butt sex too. Maybe not as much as they're having it in 2023 times, but maybe it was a little more taboo. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, yeah, freakier
that's what
back
I wish
when.
they would have like back then. Just realized like, okay, we get why it's gay guys, right? Like it's the butt sex, so like everyone can have butt sex if they wanted to. You know what I mean? So let's make it a butt sex thing, not a gay thing necessarily. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would have been in that marketing camp.
I feel like religious people are probably having that because that's isn't that like God's loophole when you
Well, that's true, but also like it's so funny that it's God's loophole, but at the same time, it's like they hate gay people, and I feel like sodomy is literally a sin. So it's like, how is that one God's loophole? Didn't
Yeah,
make any sense. It never made sense to me, like how they rationalize that.
it's a catch-22, I guess. As far as that, like, I don't know, but
Like, if you're just gonna do it, we might as well do it in the vagina. Isn't that like, if we're talking sins, lower on the totem pole? I don't know.
I don't know. And then everyone's all about the hymen, right? Like,
Maybe
you,
that's it.
yeah, you as long as the hymen is intact.
Like their husband on their wedding night's gonna inspect it. I never came across a intact hymen in my day. I never took a virginity. Come to think of it, so
Yeah, I imagine it's like a wishbone, like that you or no, like when you get a truck at a warehouse and you have to like pull the tag off to know, okay, the order hasn't been touched. This
oh,
is
I see.
you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
the
yeah. It's like
hymen.
the thing where you like you break the seal on
Yeah,
something. But
the
I
C.
mean, I don't
Mhm.
know what it physically feels like to do that, or what it is. I've never experienced it, so I don't even think about the hymen as a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. No, I have yet to either. I need to do my research on hymens.
I feel like I'm too old to take a virginity now, unless it's like a person who is absolutely stunted and they like wait until they're 32 or something like that.
Well, then some people. I remember there was a time where it was kind of popular to sell your virginity, like on Craigslist and stuff. And
Yeah, but who's verifying that?
yeah, I know it is
There should
hard to
be a
get that.
shame on like a certain. Sorry, I just have to grab this
No,
thing.
you're good.
There should be a shame on like having a virginity to a certain, like. I mean, I was 22 when I lost my virginity, and I thought that was pretty old, you know.
Hmm.
But I made up for lost time.
Hey, I mean, as long as you get it done, who's to say? You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it's like old people going to college. It's like, hey, I got my degree at fucking 65.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
can't think of an example, but there's plenty of NFL players drafted at the age of like 25. So I'm like, hey, if they're going
Shoot.
against 19-year-olds, I can fuck a couple of years later than everyone else.
Well, I think of I don't know if you watch professional wrestling, but like Diamond Dallas Page didn't really hit his stride till he was like 40
That's a good
something.
example too. I like that. In comedy, they always talk about like Rodney Dangerfield didn't get famous till he was like 45 or something like that. But he was been
No.
doing it for like a trillion years before that. But I mean, that's kind of like a comedy thing. That's why it sucks for girls, because like they all get freaked out that they're getting old. But really, like, no comedians, unless it's like a flash in the pan kind of thing, or like a really like high ascension. No
Hmm.
comedians really like get popping until 30s and 40s. So
Yeah, yeah. It's very you got to hit a weird gimmick, and now it's easier, I guess, to get a gimmick going with getting going viral and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like you kind of lose your soul if you stick with a certain gimmick that everyone likes, but you might not preferably like. You're just known for, like Gallagher, doing watermelons or something.
oh yeah, I mean, gimmicks are a short game in any sort of capacity. I mean, that's why they're called gimmicks, you know.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Let me.
if you're just doing gimmicks, then you're fucking doomed.
What do you think of like the transgender athlete debate? Do you I don't know if I'm speaking of gimmicks, but as far as like men taking over women's sports and dominating, do you think that's fair? Do you think I don't know, like they just can't make it on in their own league or
I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to the women. If they're like open minded and all that, and they want trans people to be in there, then all right, have fun competing against them. But if this is no way to win over women, I feel like it's their argument to make, and if they feel like it appears in which that they are being overpowered, like, just it's just not fair necessarily. Like, if they feel that way, then they should do away with it. But if women are like, we welcome it or whatever, it's like, all right.
Yeah, like they want the challenge or something.
And I can't wait. Then I say let it get crazy, and then we'll just have all men's sports technically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
WNBA would get so dope if it was just like, I mean, if they,
Like Juana Man, where
because
they
like
got
for that kind of money, people would make that choice. I feel like if you presented if like there was a route for like a professional athlete who couldn't necessarily cut it, but then they just like pay for that procedure to scientifically make them transgender, then they go compete in those leagues. Like, and it was just people making that choice. It's like they start asking like low round draft picks, like they go, so you didn't make the draft. Are you gonna? Are you? Will you be transitioning now to continue playing, or will you retire? Like it will get crazy. It's just like think about those consequences. But
yeah.
like I said, if women want to do it, if they want to get rid of it, then I think that's their right. They should do it. But at the same time, like if they don't, and that cascade occurs like in all parody and exaggeration, I'm about it. I think that'd be hilarious and fun.
It'd be yeah, like you said, what was it like oh, you instead of wanting to play overseas or play in a D league, hey, do you want to
Right.
just join the women's?
Will you be transitioning to join the women's league?
That'll be like a
And then
normal
that'll be
choice.
something like people will have to go like make they'll be like, well, I have to get with my team and take all possibilities into consideration, and I'm gonna speak with my family. I'm gonna do some reflecting, like things like that. And then, I mean, if they're making the same money or like comparable money to professional athletes, it's generational wealth. I mean,
Or whatever it takes, right? I guess so.
yeah,
I know we've seen, like I said, Juana Man or comedies like that where it
right.
used to be parodies and now they're real life. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
Uh, yeah, no, crazy. I was gonna ask you, as far as sports film or movies go, what's your favorite sports movie? And I would think it were I would like The Waterboy to be it, or
Hmm.
because it's so great. I don't know. No, I don't know what your favorite sports movie might be. Like what really like
Ooh, that I
gets
mean,
to you.
that's tough. It's not. I probably wouldn't be a comedy.
Yeah.
You know, um, although, I mean, also sports movies as an adult, like they all kind of are cheesy. Like when I remember when I like found out Rudy wasn't real, I was like, I mean, it is real, but when I found out it, because it's supposed to be real, that's the whole thing. It's supposed to be like this real story,
Uh-huh.
and that person is a real player, and and that kind of happened. But Joe Montana was on that team, and he was like, it did not happen like that, and we all thought he was like, it was basically like they just let a mentally challenged person play football with them, and he got in for a play, and he did get a sack, but no one really like if they carried him off the field, he said it was like sarcastic. It's like carrying the mascot off the field or something like. And I was like, oh, that cheapens it quite a bit. And it's like it's so funny to me that Joe Montana, who's achieved everything in the world, decided like just to be like, fuck that guy. That did not happen. Like, why can't you let the guy have it, you know?
Just pull the curtain back.
Yeah, it's so crazy that he just fucking
He
blew up
just
that story. He's like, "Oh, Rudy, that movie's totally dog shit." He's like, "That's totally fake." But what's my favorite? I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be like things from when I was a kid, like Mighty Ducks was huge for me. Like Rookie of the Year.
I think we're
Um,
around the same age. How about Angels in the Outfield? Man, they had a
I I
bunch of
didn't.
stars in that movie.
I liked Angels in the Outfield. I remember seeing it, but I was really more like because that one was so much about like angels. Where like Rookie of the Year was about like this kid
Oh yeah.
broke his arm and now he can throw a ball like 98 miles an hour. That and they were like he had to like play baseball all the time. Like it was like a baseball movie. And then the um the stepdad or like the mom's boyfriend becomes like his manager, and he gets all fucking high on the hog. I loved it. It's still a good movie like to watch as an adult.
Yeah.
So Rookie of the Year is definitely up there, but Mighty Ducks was huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think of another like.
I've always thought of how like that's the best way to hype up any team. Like if you're in the losing state, you just play Whoop. There it is,
Oh yeah, that's a
and
great song.
it pumps you up where like you can't lose. You
Yeah,
know,
that's a
like
great song.
you essentially like, all right, we're ready. Like Whoop, there it is playing. We're fucking ready to go this second half. You know,
Sure,
like we can't lose.
I think that's a great song.
And then Field of Dreams, I remember watching and crying my eyes out, and I don't even know why because I have my father.
No, it
Like,
just harkens something there. I mean, I have my dad is alive and lives in Buffalo or whatever, but still, dad stuff like definitely fucks with me. I
yeah,
think as we
yeah,
get older, we want to be dads too.
yeah. So it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a emotional movie, for some reason, and like I said, I'm not even into baseball, and I'm not like really like, when me and my dad hug, it feels gay,
No,
but
yeah. But it's
yeah,
something. It tickles something for sure. And
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
it's not even like the baseball part. It's the father son thing.
yeah, the emotions.
Yeah.
Speaking of fathers sons, what do you think of? I'm sure you've talked about it before. Tom Brady kissing his kids on the
I
lips.
think it's creepy and weird. I think everything that guy does is creepy and weird, and I don't really like him. I kind of hate his guts, but he once he left New England Patriots, he kind of just like became a guy to me, and I could kind of like appreciate what he is, and I don't have to hate him anymore. It was definitely exercised some demons when he left the New England Patriots. I mean, he was there for majority of my adult life. So
hmm
from when I
I
was a teenager, I think when I started college, basically, or I
mm,
was 16, maybe 16 years old when he became the starter and won the
hmm
Super Bowl. So yeah, and then he stayed there until I was 32,
Jeez.
33 maybe. I mean, it was only a few years ago. How many years ago did he? 2020 was his last. I'll never forget because I was on stage during his last game as a Patriot. I was on stage in Boston. It was the wild card round in 2020 for the 2019 season, but it happened in January, like I want to say 3rd or
Mhm.
2nd of 2020. So I'll never forget that day. That was what, 3 years ago? So I was 33 when he left the New England Patriots.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's just. I see those videos of him kissing his kids on the lips, and it's kind of like,
No, it's
yeah,
creepy.
yeah, it's very like, oh come on, that's not good enough. You want to get your tablet, you gotta make it
Yeah,
a
right.
little wetter.
You want to get your tablet? That's funny.
It's very strange, and like I said, even with my dad, I remember one time hugging my dad, thinking, "Man, this is gay," and then my dad whispered into my ear, "Oh, don't think this is gay, mijo." Like
Oh,
at
that's
the
funny.
same time as he said it. So I was like, "Oh, this is whatever." But I guess I don't know if it's white people or it's just rich people. That he does that. It's
I mean, as a white person, I don't remember anything like that really going on. I mean, maybe when I was a little kid, but like not when I was like 9 or something. I don't know, but yeah, the man is weird though. He has never had a strawberry,
really that's is legit. That's a fact.
legitimately.
Not even like strawberry flavored
I
items
don't
or
I
just
don't
straw.
know about the intricacies of that. I don't
Mhm.
believe so, but he's never eaten a strawberry.
Does he know if he's allergic to them or he just doesn't care to eat a strawberry?
I don't know the origins, but I think at this point it became a because he eats only certain foods and he's so disciplined with his diet. Who knows? Maybe now that he's retired, maybe he's tried. But
But now he looks even weirder. Like he's got that, like The Walking Dead. Like his cheeks are sinking into
well,
his.
that's what happens when you age and you're a fit man. You get a little gaunt.
No,
Yeah,
that's.
he'll
I
grow a
mean,
beard and it'll look fine. People think it's hot or whatever. That's what
what do
happens when
you?
you're just like a thin middle-aged man. You get a little gaunt. I hope I get gaunt. You know, that's the
Is,
best case scenario. There's no
you
like keeping your either that or you get big. I'd rather go opposite. I'd rather look
that's
like thinner.
that's true. That's true. You either go that way or go
I'd
big.
rather look
Yeah,
like a skeleton.
yeah. You. I
I
feel
hope
that route. I'm going the getting the bigger part. Don't like it.
different strokes for different folks.
What are your opinions on the XFL with The Rock? Uh, with it, do you like? Are you for it? Are you
I mean, I like
against
more
it?
football, but I mean, I'm never gonna unless it gets crazy. Like, I'll watch it when it's a person that I've heard of playing. Like, oh, I remember him in college, or I remember he was the backup for the Bears, or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it's a player I've heard of, every now and then I'll Google these guys, and it's like, well, this guy really like he's like out of a D2 school, so I really don't care about this guy. Like, I want to see the guys that are kind of washed out and like people think they're failures, and then they have their like heydays. Like there was AJ McCarron, I think, was one guy who played in the XFL who was fun because he was like, they're like, what, you had a backup quarterback job, like why did you take less money to come play in the XFL? He's like, I wanted my kids to see me play, and he was, he probably wasn't going to play in the situation he was in the
Mm-hmm.
NFL, so he just did that, and he had like the time of his life. I think that's cool. So I think, I mean, more football the better, and like also like every now and then there's a guy that's just like insane in those leagues, and the NFL's like, hey, let's bring this guy on, and then he turns into something. I mean, that's what like Kurt Warner was like in the Arena League when
Mm-hmm.
he got like discovered, so he became one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and so you know, I think more football the better. I think it's cool that The Rock's doing it. Like, I don't think it would have worked otherwise.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Rock can back. He can
People will
back
want
like.
to play in that league because it'll be like The Rock will just give it attention. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could back a tampon and everyone will start
but the
bleeding
old
all over it.
XFL was crazy. It was like before we cared about concussions and stuff, and like
Yeah,
it was
I
brutal. People
remember.
like had life altering injuries during that thing. I mean, it was crazy.
Good times. Good times. What would you think if The Rock ran for president? Would you vote for him?
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm ever gonna vote again, but
No,
I
I'm
don't know.
with you on that.
It would be fucking stupid. I'd be like, this. It would just be stupid. I mean, I don't know that I'd even be really like opposed to it because I'd be like, at least it's a not a elderly person. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, everyone's like, your elderly person's worse than my elderly person, and it's like they're like Biden's so elderly, and you're like, well, so is every guy you're talking about. So what do you know? I don't get it,
Oh,
but
the
it's they're
bunch of
all
old people
old.
running the country. It's
I don't want to hear
fucking
these old.
crazy.
I don't want to hear these old people complain about ageism. About being like, I can't find it. Go run for office, and you'll get a job. How about that?
And I recently saw and I sure it came out earlier, but the roast of Burt Kreischer. I saw you on there in
Oh yeah, they
in a
talk about that. I mean, it was a fucking disaster of my part because it was like not how it was supposed to go at all. It was literally like fell apart. They talked about it when Whitney was on Bert's thing a little bit, but it
uh-huh.
was like the whole bit. We practiced it like I had to get there like so. I mean, we had to like rehearse this thing, and then Donnell and Bert got wasted, and it just went off the rails. And then it was just like I was ready to be like, well, I'm gonna get undressed. I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was done,
Hmm.
so I was fine with that. I'm like, cool, whatever. I don't care. It was a fun day, whatever. And then they're like, no, I mean, everybody, it was just chaos. And they just had me go out there and I just read off that thing in a dress. And I was like, all right. I'll do it for Whitney,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll do it for Bert or whatever if they think this is good or whatever. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
like, afterwards, I'm like, what even was this? And then so I never actually like saw what happened. So I never
Yeah,
watched it.
I saw like and yeah, it did seem like off the rails because Bert did just seem wasted as fuck. I didn't notice as much with Donnell. He was yelling a lot. I just thought that was him. But yeah, you just kind of came out, and then that was it. There was
Oh yeah, they
I,
cut. I had a whole like I did lines. I had to do like I had a whole thing. So I'm glad they cut it down to it just that. Like it was
yeah.
supposed to be this whole, and it was it was like so awkward. It got a couple laughs, but it was like so awkward. I mean, maybe they put it at the end or something. I think someone told me, but
Yeah, they put the rehearsals at the end of how it was actually supposed to go. That
yeah, yeah.
you had it rehearsed, but you could tell that like Bert was just he laughing drunk as fuck, and then
He
Ke-
said to somebody he didn't remember me being there. So, and to his credit, though, he didn't because I was supposed to be a surprise or whatever. Like, why would it be me? I don't know, but um, I'm happy that they thought of me. But like, it was I was hidden from him basically before the whole thing. They
Mhm.
didn't want him to know I was there, so I was kind of just hiding in the kitchen, like drinking beers. And I, finally I did the thing, and obviously he was drunk then. And then there's no way he remembered seeing me. Like afterwards, I was kind of just like I just kind of like changed and went back to hanging out and didn't really like want to run into him because I was like that was embarrassing. Like I bet he thinks I had something to do with it. Like I was like I just along for the ride, man.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't
and
really
then
want it. But then he just admitted it. He never even remembered that I was
and
the
then
guy. So.
Kesha was there, and I don't know if he remembered that, but
No, he did remember that.
oh
That's another
yeah,
reason he doesn't remember that I was there. I
yeah,
mean,
because
because
that
that
came
happened
up.
right afterwards.
Yeah, that happened
And
right
then I'm just
after.
like dancing there in a wedding dress, and I'm like, all right. After like one song, I'm like, they don't need me in the background awkwardly dancing.
And then for some reason, well, I know the reason, like Miranda Cosgrove, but that was so odd of her to come out
Yeah,
too. I
no,
guess.
they were all backstage, and I have to sit there in this dress, like waiting to do this bit for a long time. And it's Kesha. I'm like, what's up, Kesha? Miranda Cosgrove, and I'm just in a fucking wedding dress, all weird and everything. I'm like,
Hey
cool.
man, you
It
do what you
was.
gotta do. I know
I
how it is.
just, I did it for. I love all the people involved, and I'm happy I did it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I did not have much. I didn't. I just was a team player in that instance. I thought,
Hmm. Oh yeah, no, you definitely. Like you said, Whitney, what had an idea, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm down. Whatever you want to do."
yeah,
Yeah,
right. I just was doing their idea,
yeah.
and it's like they probably gave me a license to be like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, and I wasn't going to say any of that. And also, like, they probably would have taken ideas, but I also like didn't want to come up with ideas. I just am like, I'll just do whatever you guys think is best. I don't really know what's going on here. Maybe that was my lack of creative, whatever execution.
Couple more things. The Damar Hamlin clone thing. I wanted to ask your opinion
But
on. Is he? Because I kept watching those videos of him, far away and in masks, and then the way it was all like narratively brought out. Do you think Damar Hamlin is a clone? And
no, I think they limited his. I think it was stupid for. I mean, they wanted to like bring him out for like the hurrah of it all, but like the man is respiratory system is still weak, and it's a blizzard in Buffalo, and people have colds and are like, so like they had him wear a mask, and they didn't want him really near any people, and the cameras are trying to hunt him down like it's Michael Jackson. So it's just all, and then also it was snowing, like whiteout snow.
hmm
So like they're like, here's our view of the booth, and it's all through the snow and everything, and it's like, and then they're like also taking wide shots of him as he sits in the corner alone. Like he didn't need to be there, and if he was like, I in today's social media age, like I guess they had to show something that he was there, but like all the players are like, yeah, like especially like we have guys on our team like Jordan Poyer and Cole Beasley. If that was a clone, those guys would be the first to tell you. I'll tell you right now.
And man, what was I asking? Oh, that the hit he took. Do you think that was really like the hit that did him in, or it was probably
Yeah, I
something
mean,
like
it's happened
prior?
to like it's like a thing that I've heard of in what capacity. Like, I feel like it's happened in other sports
Because I remember
to a degree.
in like the movie Face Off, whenever fucking Travolta punches the cop in the heart and he just like fucking falls over and shit. I could
Right.
imagine a hit to the chest a certain way could like fuck up your
Well,
heart,
that's the
but
thing. Yeah, like there's a thing that like if you get hit at the and I forget where else I've heard of this because I remember when it happened. I thought of this reference and I can't even think of it now because Damar Hamlin eclipsed it all. But like, there's like a thing like if you have like a traumatic impact to your chest while your heart beats at this certain point, it can create like it can just make your heart stop or whatever. You
mm,
know, it happens to like boxers, I guess. I think
okay,
maybe it
so
was a
it
thing.
it just
So
happened at
like
the right time.
it just was that kind of impact,
Uh
and it happened right there. Now the question is like people are like, are they going to cut him or whatever? I think he like physically can get back to where he was before this happened because it's like a freak accident, and he had a strong enough heart to be like out of the hospital pretty quickly. But he did like die on the field. But I think he could recover physically. But I think mentally he's gonna be fucked because like now when a guy charges at him, like he's gonna be like Maverick and Top Gun when Goose dies, and then he has to get back up there and he's like, I don't have the shot. I don't have it. And they're
like
like, you could have
P
had it, man. He goes, I'll shoot when I'm ready, or what? You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna be
yeah,
all like hesitant and shit.
PTSD. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's gonna be the hardest thing to overcome. I hope he's not like that, but that's what I would expect would lessen his play, not his physical fitness.
They should just give him a vest like they gave D'Lo Brown,
Yeah,
when
right.
and he's doing frog
That speaking
splashes
of
with
guys
it.
that like mentally couldn't. Once he killed that guy, D'Lo Brown, he was like never the same.
Oh, he didn't kill him. You mean puke
Or
draws?
no, once he paralyzed him, I meant
He
to say. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
once he
he
broke his
recently
neck.
died. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that draws puke. Well, I don't remember what his name was because he was part of the Legion of Doom 2000.
Right.
But they called him puke at the beginning because he could puke on command, and he's like,
Yeah, he was a
he's
part of
gonna
that
puke.
documentary.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. And
Yeah, he was a part of that whole Beyond the Mat thing.
and D'Lo Brown, it was just a regular power bomb off the rope spot, and he just didn't have him gripped right, and draws
Yeah,
wasn't in the right spot, and he just
I don't
fell on
know.
his neck.
D'Lo was
Y-
never the same.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd feel bad too if I
Yeah, me too. What do you
paralyzed,
do?
especially in a sport like wrestling where it's kind of staged. Yeah,
Sure. That's like you're acting and you just fucking. I mean, it's like when Alec Baldwin shot that person. I guess.
hmm Well, if he feels guilty about that, I don't know. They feel like they get off on that shit.
Yeah, maybe.
The whites. Nah, y'all are all right. The white people.
I
uh, I got one. A few more. No, lastly, I think. I always see. Do you drink soda? Like, what's your go to soda?
If I drink soda, it'd be Diet Coke probably.
Diet Coke? Because I love Sprite. Right?
I like some Sprite if it's nighttime.
Yeah, Sprite's good. I mean, I don't drink soda anymore. I'm just not into carbonated drinks as much for whatever reasons. But
I mean, I drink Red Bull like it's water. So
I drink the Celsius drinks, pre-workouts, even though I don't work out. And I always see Sprite advertised for what would you say the colored demographic? Like every time I see it, it's for rappers, it's for
Do they like?
athletes.
Well, yeah, they like Sprite.
Yeah, but it's I like Sprite too, and you sound like you like Sprite. I don't see why it's so aimed at rappers and
I don't know. They also
sport sports
found
people.
like lean. I don't know. No, I mean, I understand. I mean, here's the thing: it's like you have to look at what they look at in terms of like market shares and stuff like that. Like maybe they already know they got the whites and they got the Latino community. Maybe they think they're like, we already crush in those areas. We got to get out there to black kids more.
Yeah, make a drink for them because yeah, you're right. The Latin community does love our Coca Cola. Basically, they bathe in Mexico instead of the water because the water's dirtier than the fucking soda.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is why everyone's getting diabetes over there.
It's crazy.
Because they can't even drink the water. And I was gonna ask you. I know you have issues with your. You have one eye that kind of bugs you, right? Like
Well, no, I'm blind in one eye.
you're blind in one eye. I was
Yeah,
saying, like, does it? I know you do a bit of sports betting. I see on the Twitter.
yeah,
Does it
yeah,
help? Are you able to like see into the future through that
yeah.
one
I wish I'd be way.
eye,
I
like
would be
some
way
Game of
better at it.
Thrones?
If I could, I'd be way better at it. I'll tell you that. I just went to Vegas and lost my fucking ass because I just was like excited to be at the sports book. The problem is I wasn't invested. I didn't take time. I was with like a whole group of people, so like we were doing other things, and I didn't like want to bore anybody by being like, I'm gonna spend the next 6 hours watching baseball. So, and so I still bet on the games, but I didn't really like invest my. If I was there and I was live betting and things like that, it would have been a different story. I feel like, but I lost so much money. If I could see into the future, I'd be so rich right now. That's
Oh
all I
yeah,
bet on. When they in Back to the Future, when he steals the sports almanac, I was like, yeah, of course I would. That's the first thing I would do. The
yeah.
first thing I think of when it comes to time travel. I wouldn't go back and do anything heroic. I wouldn't go back and like fix something in my own life that I regret that I did. I would go back and I would bet on every Super Bowl. I would just stop in, make bets on Super Bowls, bail. 2 Super Bowls, just make like a grip of money, come back to present day with the money, and then just act like. But people would look back and they'd see me. That's why I couldn't. I'd have to go back. I'd have to go back like. I'd only go back like 2 years. I wouldn't even go back. It's like not like I'm going to go back and bet on like Super Bowl 3 or something like that. Who would I even bet with? It's like I got to go find a bookie or whatever. Fuck that.
Uh huh.
And then I get my knees broken or some shit. I don't know. It's all illegal or they jip me. But like I would go back to like when sports betting's been legal now for a few years. I'd go back and like the 2 Super Bowls ago and then like maybe the last Super Bowl. And not crazy money. Nothing to raise up a
Yeah,
flare.
suspicion.
And then I would come right back, and sure, things would be a little different. Everyone would be coming up to me being like, "Can I borrow money? You won those 2 Super Bowls." Like, I wonder how else it would affect.
The ripple.
I wonder if I got here though, yeah, and I'd be like, "This isn't my apartment. I live like a house all of a sudden." Like, and I go, "No, I wouldn't have done that. No," you know what I mean?
The some sort of like Twilight Zone twist.
Like a butterfly effect that actually my life is a little better and more fulfilled, but
Yeah, you come home and there's
I'm not headlining comedy clubs anymore because I stopped trying because I had all this money.
a male partner, your male partner cooking for you, like ready
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah,
night or
yeah.
something.
That's funny. That's like a Black Mirror episode.
Nah, I think that would be the least way to mess with the timeline is you just betting a little bit. It's not like you're changing destinies. You're just betting a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I
what I
don't
would
think.
hope.
Yeah, I don't
But
think you
how would
would
it?
be doing
How
that.
would it? I'd have to tell myself put this in an account until 2023, so you can use it then. Because trust me, just live the same way. When
Yeah,
you
you
go
think you
back in
could?
when you go back in time, does it always does the ripple happen because you affect it even in the smallest of ways, or is it because when you replay time, not every single thing can happen the same way again?
I don't know, because I feel like if we were to have already time traveled, we already would have talked to ourselves. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we just all fold in on each other.
yeah, we like you say, if you would have already gone back, you would have already known. Oh shit, I talked to myself already. Like,
Would I have
unless.
talked to myself, or would I have? What I would have done is I would have snuck into my room while I was asleep, and I would have made the bet on my phone because it's my phone from just a few years ago. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
remember how to do it. I go in, I make the bet on my phone. Sleeping me, and plus I know how to like deposit money into it and stuff like that. Sleeping me has no. We just wake up, and then all of a sudden it appears in our balance.
Yeah.
And I would have blamed it on Xanax or something a few years ago. I would have
Oh,
been like,
okay. There you
I
go.
could have been like, I made a bet last night. I don't even remember it, but I did it, and I would have taken pride in that.
Well, then there you go. You got. It's not. You wouldn't arouse suspicion of yourself and
Unless I
cause.
could I leave myself a note that explains it. Hey, or that would even make it even better. I don't talk to myself. I just leave a note. Hey, you from the future made a bet on your phone. Just take the money and hide it till 2023. And then I'd be like, what kind of drugs did I take? But I would trust it. I would do it still.
You wouldn't question it. Like, man, I
I
was
would
fucked
assume I
up.
was really fucked up and I did that, but I would go, I must have did it for a reason, and it's very elaborate. So even fucked up me might be me from the future.
All right. Last thing I want to ask you, and I'm sorry taking up so much time for you.
No, you're good, dude.
Who would you rather bring back, the Oilers or the Supersonics?
The Supersonics, fuck the Oilers.
The Supersonics.
Yeah. I'd rather bring them back, even though I don't care about basketball. They had cool jerseys, and it's like let Seattle have something. Well, I guess they have a football team and now a hockey team, so
Well,
and
they
a
have
baseball team.
all, and they have all legal drugs, don't they? Or is that Oregon? Maybe that's Oregon.
Oregon
What?
kind of. They both are a little wishy washy. I mean, it's like another country up there, and
Hmm.
it's not like I mean, Portland's like kind of weird now, but like Seattle's still kind of cool in my opinion, and it's kind of like foreigny. It's like weird, but the Oilers, I hated them back in the day. Now, I mean, the Tennessee Titans are just going to start wearing the Oilers throwbacks, so it's kind of like you get them back.
But then
Um,
Houston still has the Texans, right? The Houston
right. Yeah,
Texans.
they don't need to have another foot. They already have a football team, even though it's not been as like rich of a history, I guess. But they've done some shit, and they have a
Well,
fun team this year, actually.
yeah. Well, I thank you again for your time. It's great.
No, thank you,
I
dude. That was fun.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of you, and your comedy. I hope nothing but the best for you, and yeah, keep doing it. I watch your shit every Wednesday. It's it keeps me up to date on sports, even though I'm not a sports person. Like, I don't watch ESPN, but you
Well,
keep
this
me
is
in
the
that.
good time to watch the show because there really isn't much happening. I mean, right now we're in the desert of sports, but I love baseball, so it doesn't bother me. But other people are like, there's no sports happening. You know, I mean, football training camp is starting up though, so there could be some things getting interesting.
Yeah, but that's what I like about your. You give me the funny parts of them, of
Oh yes,
sport,
thank you.
but then also like the facts where I'm like, I believe him. Like, you're delivering, you're a reputable source of news.
Well,
But
thank you. I don't know how much I am. I get a lot of things wrong, but
and then everything else, the queef of the week and murder and all that. I love. Uh,
Thank you.
the way it's gone, it's an inspiration uh, for
I
for
appreciate it
me.
very much.
Yeah, and yeah, no, it was great. I appreciate that your time. I wish you nothing but success. Is there anything you wanted to plug? I know I got here on the banner down here. You have your Josh Potter show every
Yeah,
Wednesday.
that's all
Your
good.
link
Just
tree.
yeah, thank you. Just the Josh Potter show every Wednesday. Come see me if I'm in your town or whatever. And that's about it.
All right, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it, and wish you nothing but the best. And take care.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Yeah.